The Second Amendment states, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. It is an amendment with a purpose that was evident 200 years ago and is even more profound today. Every one of us values the right to protect ourselves. As you retire for the night, you lock your door, set the alarm, or turn on exterior lights. Many of you probably have a weapon in a bedside drawer or under your mattress. I know I do. We have the right to protect ourselves and our families. It is a right ensured to us by our Constitution, and it is a right that we are now in jeopardy of losing. I believe that more gun control laws will not reduce the number of violent crimes in America. Moreover, I believe the proposed laws are unconstitutional or are being made by politicians who just aren't qualified to make them. The Second Amendment was written to provide the citizens of this country with the means to protect ourselves from individuals who intend harm and from a potentially tyrannical government. We as Americans cannot just stand idly by and have this right stripped away from us. The politicians who are pushing for these gun control laws and for more laws on ammunition and things like that are incompetent concerning armed self-defense. This can be considered dangerous incompetence. Dangerous incompetence is the ignorance, negligence, and or failure of duty that endangers human life and safety. How can a member of Congress begin to tell us the best way to protect ourselves from the assailant when armed self-defense is not their field of expertise? Politicians have even gone as far to decide how many bullets a person should use to protect themselves. Senator Dianne Feinstein has decided that 7 bullets should get the job done, while our own president says that, hey, 10 bullets is just enough for you. An interview with a gunfighter described an attack with an elderly man with which he unloaded 11 rounds from a .40 caliber pistol to stop 2 intruders. If the senior citizen had had maybe 7 or 10 rounds, he probably wouldn't be here to do the interview today. According to professional law enforcement instructor Masad Ayub, the cops are the experts in the current criminal trends. If they have determined that a .223 high-power rifle with a 30-round magazine and a high-capacity pistol is what they need, then that's good enough for me. So basically, we have people with no idea about armed self-defense making laws to regulate how we may or may not defend ourselves with a firearm. I don't know about you, but I would rather listen to a gun and self-defense expert instead of a senator who thinks 7 rounds should protect you. Contrary to what gun control advocates say, more gun control will not put an end to mass murders or acts of violent crime in our society. Criminals obviously do not follow rules and regulations, so I fail to see how making more laws will result in less violent crimes being committed. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the notorious Columbine shooters, violated close to 20 firearm laws and obtained the weapons used to carry out the horrific mass murder at Columbine High. Additional laws would not have prevented the tragedy that occurred that day. It is clear that criminals are going to continue to acquire guns. It is the law-abiding citizens that are going to purchase these guns legitimately. If stricter laws would eliminate gun violence, then why haven't laws against narcotics gotten rid of drug dealers or drug addicts? I mean, we still have those all over the place. Another thing to consider is if guns are less accessible, violent crime and mass murders will not cease. Of the roughly 16,272 murders that were committed in the U.S. in 2008, 67% were committed with firearms. Clearly, the use of other weapons is conceivable. Just this week at Lone Star Community College in Houston, Texas, a student went on a stabbing spree with a knife. He stabbed 14 people and critically injured 2 before he was apprehended. If guns aren't available to criminals, then mass murderers will resort to other weapons and devices. Most individuals who commit mass murders are vigilantes. They're not afraid to die. My point is, where criminal intent is present, criminal acts will follow, regardless of the weapon used. You can regulate weapons, but you'll never be able to regulate evil. Finally, imposing more and stricter gun laws or raising taxes on ammunition to outrageous amounts is an abomination to the Second Amendment and our right as Americans to protect ourselves from criminals and even our own government. Our right to keep and bear arms is a constitutionally protected right. As stated in an article on the Wall Street Journal website, the government cannot abridge constitutionally protected rights simply to make a symbolic point or because it feels that something should be done. In other words, even given the horrific mass murders such as the Columbine and Colorado movie theater massacre and Sandy Hook Elementary, our constitutional rights cannot be taken away as a statement or solution. As horrible as those tragedies were, rights that are guaranteed to us by the Constitution cannot be taken away just to answer those tragedies. As 15-year-old Sarah Merkel testified in front of Maryland lawmakers, by signing this legislation, you are not eliminating gun violence, but instead liberating American citizens of our constitutional rights. You're not eliminating guns from our society, but eliminating our ability to protect ourselves, lives, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. As I have demonstrated here, more laws have nothing to do with those who disregard existing laws. The law-abiding citizens will be the ones punished by the laws that are irrelevant and unconstitutional. More gun laws will not reduce violent crime and mass shootings. They will only take away our Second Amendment rights, and cripple us defensively. Now that you have been armed with common sense, go forth and fight the good fight. Let's protect our Second Amendment.